reader friends! Welcome back to Storytime. Today, I have another fantastic story, which is called How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. But before we get started, please subscribe for more fun videos with me. Now let's get started. But the Grinch who lived just north of Who-ville did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be, perhaps, that his shoes were too tight. But I think the most likely reason of all may have that his heart was too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve, hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town, for he knew every Who down in Who-ville beneath was busy now, hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow's Christmas. It's practically here. Then he growled, his Grinch fingers nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, he knew. Mary! All the Who girls and boys would awake bright and early. They rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise. That's one thing he hated. The noise. Then the Who's, young and old, sit down to a feast. They feast, and they feast, and they feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something that the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Who-ville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They stand hands in hands, and the Who's will start singing. They sing and they sing and they sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas thing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years, I put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? But then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat. He made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. He chuckled and clucked. What a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and hat, I look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer. The Grinch looked around. Since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. That stopped the old Grinch? No! The Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max. Then he took some red thread, he tied a big horn on top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh. He hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, Giddy up! The sleigh started down toward where the horns with the Who's lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, this is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed. He climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. If Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. But he got only stuck once, for a moment or two, and he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue. were the little Who stockings, all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, roller skate, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn, and plums. He stuffed them in his bags. Then the Grinch, very nimbly, stuffed all the bags, one by one, up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast, took the Who pudding, he took the roast beast. He cleaned out the icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. He stuffed all the food up the chimney. And now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree. And the Grinch grabbed the tree. He started to shove when he heard a small sound like a coo of a dove. He turned around fast and he saw a small Who, little Candy Lou Who, who's not no more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by his tiny Who daughter, gotten out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? But you know, the old Grinch was so smart and slick, he thought of a lie, and he thought it up quick. Why, my sweet little tot, the fake Santa Claus lied. There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side, so I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, then I'll bring it back here. And as he fib-fooled the child, then he patted her head, and he got her a drink and sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. And the last thing he took was a log for their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. Only one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb. It was even too small for a mouse. Then the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. It was 1:15 down. All the Who's still abed, all the Who's still a snooze. He packed up his sled, packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags, and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with the load to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh-pooh to the Who's. He was grinishly humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I'll know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then all the Who's down in Who-ville all cry, boo-hoo. That's a noise. That's a simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over snow. It started in low and started to grow. The sound wasn't sad. Why, this sounds so merry. It couldn't be so. But it was merry. Merry! He stared down at Who-ville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Who-ville, the tall and the small, was singing without any present at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came! Somehow or other, it just came the same. And with the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons, it came without tags, it came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours until his puzzler was sore. And the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, needs a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Who-ville they say that the Grinch Small's heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light. He brought back the toys and the food for the feast. And he, himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast. The end. I hope you enjoyed this fantastic story. Please subscribe for more fun videos with me. See you later in another video. Bye, reader friends, and keep on reading.